I hired an actor to pose as my boyfriend at my little sister's wedding. The sister I practically raised, because my ex-husband was coming and bringing the woman he left me for. But what my fake date did during the toast made the entire room go silent. The moment I understood something in me hadn't just bent, but actually broken, was when a man I'd known for 6 minutes told me I looked beautiful, and I answered, "It's my sister's dress." He didn't say it back. He didn't argue. He just went quiet in the passenger seat and looked at me the way you look at a bird that's flown into a window and is somehow still breathing on the porch. Not pity. Something more careful than pity. Like he was doing math on how much I could take. His name was Elias. I'd found him 3 days earlier on a site called Actor for Hire and paid him $320 for 5 hours. His profile said he specialized in high-tension family events. I didn't know what that meant, and I didn't care. I needed one person in that room who looked like he'd chosen me on purpose. I needed him there by 4 o'clock, and I needed Wade to watch us walk in together. I told myself it wasn't about revenge. I was lying. Let me back up. My name is Colleen Ashby. I'm 41 years old. I live in a 2-bedroom rental in Fallon Ridge with a water stain on the kitchen ceiling shaped almost exactly like Ohio that my landlord has been promising to fix since March. I drive a 2016 Subaru with 191,000 miles on it and a passenger door that only opens from the inside, so anyone I let ride with me has to wait while I lean across and shove it open. I run the front office at a plumbing and heating company on Depot Street, which means I know exactly what every man there earns, whose child support is late, and which of them cried in the supply closet the week his divorce came through. I hold everybody's private numbers all day. It's a strange thing to be trusted with everyone's math and to have nobody holding yours. I raised my sister. I don't say that to sound like a saint. I say it so the rest of this makes sense. Our mother died when I was 21, and Bree was 8. Our father was already just a name on a birthday card that eventually stopped coming. So I did the packed lunches and the parent nights and the prom dress and the college essays and the 2 a.m. phone calls when some boy didn't call back. When Bree got engaged and asked me to walk her down the aisle because there was no one else, and to be her maid of honor, and to give the toast, it was the closest thing to being told I mattered that I'd felt in a decade, and it terrified me, which, looking back, should have told me everything. I was married to Wade Dolan for 14 years. Wade had a way about him that felt like solid ground when I was young, and didn't reveal its other face until much later. Here is the thing about Wade you need to understand. Every single time I was proud of something, he found a way to make it small. When I got promoted to office manager, a real raise, the first one of my life, I came home lit up about it, and he said, "Let's not throw a parade, Colleen." When I ran a 5K I'd trained 4 months for, he said, "It's not the Olympics." Whenever I got excited, he'd say, "Nobody needs the Colleen show." He said it smiling, always smiling, like it was affection. And after enough years, I learned to say it first. I learned to hand every good thing away before he could take it, because giving it away myself hurt less than watching him do it. Wade left on a Sunday. I remember because I'd made the pot roast, the good one his mother taught me. He stood at the counter with his keys already in his hand, which is how I knew it was rehearsed, and he said, "Colleen, I need more than this." I asked him more than what. He looked around the kitchen, at the roast, at me in my apron, and he said, "More than somebody who's grateful for a small life." Then he said her name, Simone, 29. She worked the front desk at his gym. Within a month, he was taking her everywhere I'd never been. The lake house rentals, the steak places, the concerts. He posted the photos the way you post a thing you're proud of. Not obsessively, proudly. A man showing off an upgrade. And Wade was going to be at the wedding, because there was nothing I could do about it. The groom, Reed, had done his apprenticeship under Wade years back and idolized him. Called him his mentor, put him 3 tables from the front. When Bree told me, apologizing the whole time, I said it was fine. Of course I said it was fine. I got off the phone, sat in my Subaru in my own carport, and thought about walking my little sister down the aisle while the man who spent 14 years teaching me to disappear watched from 3 tables away with the woman he'd traded me for. Then I opened my laptop and typed "hire a date for a wedding." Elias's profile was the 3rd result. His photo showed a man in his late 30s leaning in a doorway, not smiling for the camera, just looking at it, like he'd already decided he didn't need to impress me. One of his reviews said, he understood the situation before I finished describing it. And that turned out to be the whole point. That was the one that made me book him. I messaged him and I was more honest than I meant to be. I told him about Wade and the pot roast and grateful for a small life. I told him about Bree and that I'd raised her, and that walking her down the aisle was the most important thing I would ever do, and that I could not afford to fall apart in front of that room. He wrote back in 15 minutes. "I can do it. Call me tomorrow and we'll go through everything." We talked for half an hour. He didn't ask about logistics. He asked how long I'd been divorced. He asked what I was more afraid of, Wade saying something cruel or Wade